Coming up.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Today we head deep underground into one of the most famous mines of Virginia City, Nevada, before taking an historic train ride to the nearby town of Gold Hill, which, while smaller than Virginia City, nevertheless has just as much history and equally spooky ghost stories. We begin with the Chollar Mine in Virginia City, Nevada, and this time we head some 400 feet deep underground and into what was one of the great mines of the Comstock Lode, where some $17 million of gold and silver were blasted out across 80 years. The Comstock Lode itself produced over $400 million worth of silver and gold during its operation, with the Chollar Mine being a key contributor to this wealth. It contained one of the richest silver deposits ever discovered and was a major contributor to the development of Virginia City. Originally discovered in 1859, the mine's name Chollar is thought to be derived from a combination of the names of two early mine owners, Charles and William Oller, who worked the mine in its early years. Now let's head deep into the Chollar Mine and share with you what the Comstock Lode looks like up close and personal.
You wouldn't think compressed air would have that much power, but it did, because this bucket probably weighed 1,200 to 1,500 pounds when it was loaded. So, the winch operator would be standing by there. Now, once they loaded the bucket, those people down there would signal. What's going on? Oh, you snake bellied. They would signal. 3 bells. All right, Jake, bring it on up. Bring it up. Unloaded into the ore carts, where they were taken out to an ore tipple, where they were waited storage until such time as they could be loaded into rail cars to take it to the stamp mills along the Carson River for processing. And then if you heard 2 bells, that was, all right, we're getting ready to load the bucket. You dirt lizards down there better get out of the way, because if that bucket breaks loose and hits somebody down there, it's going to be your fault. Or worse to that effect. Okay. Now, once they really get compressed air into the mines, and I'll get a little ahead of myself, but if you heard I've looked far and wide to come up with a word to describe that, and the only word I could come up with is uh-oh. You cannot use uh-oh in any way that's positive. You're in the middle of Nevada where air hasn't been used yet. Even the rattlesnakes carry canteens. And you look into the hood of your car and you go. Translated to uh-oh. You're laying in your hospital bed and the physician is listening to your heart. And things are looking bad. And suddenly he goes, uh-oh, you're about ready to cross the River Jordan, and you're not going to kick that bucket. Now, indeed, 300 miners lost their lives up here in the course of the Comstock due to fire, accidents, cave-ins, you name it. The worst was a disaster that occurred 1869. And what happened, 39 miners got caught underground during a fire, an underground fire. They all died. All but 5 were recovered. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Not seen one, no.
Okay. How about you? Have you ever seen a ghost? No. Well, I haven't seen one either, but I got some skeletons in my closet we're not going to discuss today. Now, once they were to get compressed air in the mines, now they had these jackleg drills. Powered by compressed air, they were the same thing as that piece of steel that I showed you with a hammer. Only this time it was done with compressed air. It also had a water hose connected to keep the dust down, because much too late did they realize that all the dust that they were inhaling caused a real nasty form of emphysema called consumption. And most of those miners that died up here died of consumption. Now, Powder Monkey would come up, he'd look at the holes, and then he would fill them if he was satisfied.
No pun intended, but what a blast that tour of the mine was. A visit to the Chollar Mine is one of the best things to do in Virginia City, especially if you've read Roughing It by none other than former Virginia City resident Mark Twain, who once worked as a journalist in the town and is packed full of fascinating stories of the Old West. Well, as if that wasn't enough fun for one day, after dusting ourselves off, we decided to take the historic train ride on the local Virginia and Truckee Railroad down to the nearby town of Gold Hill for, you guessed it, some more exploring. Please forgive the camera shake here, folks. I filmed the train ride on an old GoPro. In the heart of the Nevada mountains, where silver was once king, one railroad came to shape the history and economy of the region, the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. It all began in 1869 when the vision of connecting the silver and gold-rich mining town of Virginia City to the bustling rail networks in the west gave birth to this iconic route. As silver and gold poured out of the Comstock lode, the demand for a fast, reliable way to transport the precious metal became urgent. Enter the Virginia and Truckee Railroad, or V&T as locals call it. The railroad quickly became the lifeblood of Virginia City, carrying not only silver and gold, but also passengers, freight, and the promise of a growing economy. But this was no easy feat. Traversing the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains, the V&T was a marvel of engineering, with trestle bridges, sharp curves, and steep grades that tested both the skill of the engineers and the power of the locomotives. It was a route that demanded strength, precision, and grit, qualities that defined the railroad's legacy. By the late 1800s, the V&T had expanded, connecting towns like Carson City and Reno, and becoming a vital lifeline for settlers, miners, and tourists alike. Yet, as the silver boom slowed and the world changed, the Virginia and Truckee Railroad faced tough challenges. By the 1930s, the rise of the automobile and economic shifts signaled the beginning of the end for this once thriving railroad. In 1950, after decades of operation, the V&T ceased passenger service, but the story didn't end there. The railroad lived on in the hearts of history enthusiasts and preservationists. In the 21st century, parts of the old track were restored, and today, as you can see here, you can take a ride on a piece of history, reliving the golden age of steam through the picturesque landscapes of Nevada. After exiting the train, we walked around the ruins of what's left of the Gold Hill mine shaft entrance and its associated buildings. In 1869, a catastrophic collapse tragically cost the lives of 20 to 30 miners, many of whom were killed instantly, as well as many who remained trapped in the mine despite rescue efforts. Those who survived the collapse were eventually brought out, but many had been trapped for extended periods, with some suffering severe injuries. Like many mining accidents of the time, the Gold Hill mine disaster was largely forgotten by the general public, overshadowed by the larger economic boom and bust cycles of the Comstock lode. Next to the mine shaft, you will find the miner's cabin, which of course, as with most buildings around here, is supposedly rather haunted. If you want to experience the paranormal, you can book a night there or choose the luxurious Gold Hill Hotel and Saloon built in 1861, which, no surprise, is also haunted by various ghosts, notably by someone referred to as the White Lady and a ghost who goes by the name of Sally. In any case, we ate there, didn't see any ghosts, but I can safely say their food is pretty good and makes a nice change to eating in Virginia City, which, whilst amazing to visit as a place, was a bit bland in terms of food if I'm to be honest. There's not too many buildings of note remaining in Gold Hill, but you can still see the now abandoned Gold Hill Post Office, which remained in operation until 1943. The building housed the Gold Hill branch of the Bank of California, established in 1864. Surprisingly for the Wild West, there is no evidence that the Gold Hill Post Office was ever robbed. We'll finish out this video with some shots of the drive down to Dayton, as well as a quick walk through the main street. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and apologies for the bumpy footage. It was filmed a few years ago on an older camera, and only now have I got around to putting together the footage. In any case, I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel and tap the like button if you found this video interesting. See you in the next one. This is Dayton, which is pretty close to Virginia City. It's an old hotel.